Bitcoin jump of the early 2017 when it reaches about $5,000 for one Bitcoin. Who would have thought? I know me and Paul didn't think that when we were in our junior year in high school when they were $40 a pop. That would have been some foresight right there. But anyways, oh, hello there. Welcome to the HH Podcast, episode number 32. You might notice a stark lack of people, so it's just going to be me here for an hour and a half just talking to myself for a while. But it's going to be a good old grand time. So let's just jump right into it. Today, I'm Eric, I'm your host, and I'm joined by Paul.
Yep, I'm here again of the Holo Herald podcast. I'm here once again to talk about some great AR, VR, MR technologies, and really anything that falls underneath the tech sphere. We just love talking about stuff, especially current events, so I'm excited, and I think we have some pretty interesting things to talk about today, so it'll be a good one. And I think Austin's showing up later, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Who knows, it might just be a little bit more intimate. Maybe we should get a different setup so I don't just look like I'm lonely as all heck here with a couch and all this seat and everything all by myself. Anyways, so let's go ahead and first let me intro. Sorry, there's a lot going on. I'm very easily distracted. There we go. Come on, get up nice and right and personal with me. Yep, there we go.
What do you want on the table?
No, not that personal. All right, yep, right about there. There we go. So while he's doing that, we can go ahead and everybody can crack open their drinks for the podcast. That went everywhere. Today, this podcast is brought to you by Cactus Cooler. Oh, there we go. Some ASMR. What are you drinking, Paul? You have anything good?
No. I'm not drinking anything. I just realized I'm out of it, so
It's going to be a long hour.
We're good.
Anyways, so, as usual, the podcast has two features for the people that are not here at the live stream. We have the link dump, and we have the timestamps down below in the description. So if you guys are watching, go ahead and you can just scroll down to the description, read through our topics we talked about, find all our links we talked about, and you can find all the relevant information, because we know we can kind of drag on certain topics sometimes, so we leave that there for you. For everybody that's at the live stream, welcome to the live stream. It's glad to have you guys. We haven't been around for quite some time. And for people listening to the pre-recorded version, or just everybody in general, sorry for releasing the podcast a little bit late. I totally spaced it, and the live stream feature was kind of weird. I don't know. We're going to get better at it. Don't worry. It's been about a month since we've released any content. So with that in mind, we're going to jump right back on that bandwagon. We thought we'd take like a month break, figure everything out, figure out our direction, and YouTube's been kind of changing recently. Just the whole sphere and the feel of YouTube feels a lot different than when we originally started the Holo Herald. And we here at the Holo Herald, I don't know if that's really the direction we wanted it to go, YouTube in general, and we just want to make sure that our channel is in line with what we saw a year ago and the tasks that we wanted to accomplish and all of that. Does that feel fair, Paul? Have you felt like a shift in YouTube in the past year since we started the Holo Herald?
Yeah, and I think it's more like YouTube's trying to be like PC, but by being PC, they're kind of destroying what it means to be like a small YouTube creator, destroying what made YouTube great in the first place, which was that people could post whatever they want, and then the community would decide what it wants to watch. But now it seems like they're almost like force-feeding us content, rather than people kind of having the freedom to go out. I mean, it's really hard to find a small channel these days, or like stuff you're interested in, without running into like some huge YouTuber who may not be like what you're into, you know?
No, yeah, you're exactly right. Keep talking for half a second, Paul. I moved.
Okay. And I think like one of the big things is just like, I know this recent stuff like after the Las Vegas shooting, all those conspiracy videos, and people got like mad about that on the trending page and stuff, and it's just like, well, maybe they shouldn't really have like a trending page then. Maybe they should have just like a channel spotlight where they just pick random channels rather than just like popular right now, because all you're going to get on that really popular page is just like late night show stuff, or in this case it was a bunch of conspiracy theories of like people being like, oh yeah, the government planned this or something like that, you know?
No, yeah, you're exactly right. I was kind of depressed, not depressed, I was sad to see that the direction YouTube's been taking right now. And this is something, I guess, a topic we can touch on because we're content creators and we're big time content ingestors. We watch a lot of content here at the Herald. We watch a lot of channels. We're Patreon subscribers to people. I use YouTube Red. You know, we're big YouTube supporters, and we have been since YouTube's been really popular. We're one of the first generations to actually grow up with this medium of content, and it's just been a sad transition to see it. And we're actually thinking about making some content specifically about that on a different channel because it's not really what we see to fit here at the Holo Herald, but maybe for a different channel time. Maybe make some content with some of these analytics and data about the trending pages and how YouTube Red could actually benefit YouTube, and how focusing on growing the smaller channels rather than growing the TV channels, because to me that's one of the most depressing things to see is YouTube's about broadcasting yourself and about the small time creators fostering communities from the ground up. You know, they build their own communities, and it's sad to see this shift where YouTube's really focusing on late night shows or sports, big sports people, communities that already have huge followings. And I can see what they're doing with the trending page. You know, trending is where most of the time new people go. There's not a lot of the time where classical YouTube ingestors go in and check out the trending page. So that's what they want the content to see. They want to drag in new users and new people. But at the same time, is that the face you want to give? Do you want YouTube to just be your DVR of the late night show that you missed last night? Because that's essentially what it's turning into, and it's kind of a bum. I mean, you go through the trending page, and we're going to do some research on it here soon, and it's just probably 80% non-actual YouTube content and maybe 20% YouTube content, and that 20% YouTube content is big channels with 8 million, 5 million plus subscribers, the pretty boys of YouTube. Isn't that kind of the trend you've noticed, Paul?
Yeah, definitely. And it makes sense. Like, yeah, obviously those videos are getting the most views, and yeah, new people are going to want to see, like, technically what's the best content YouTube has to offer. But those channels, when you click on them, they don't bring you much into, like, you know, like the recommended on the sidebar is usually just the same stuff over and over again. They're never like in a new direction to get deeper into YouTube. You know, they're keeping you on like the surface level where everything's just like late night shows or PewDiePie or any of your other big YouTubers. And yeah, like their content's okay, but like sometimes I think it's better for the community as a whole if they try and push people to smaller channels, because if people start realizing, oh, YouTube's not the place to start out, like I would rather go on Twitter or Instagram and start posting videos there, and then they can post my stuff onto YouTube. You know, I think YouTube might lose a lot of that like initial content creatorship if they keep going in this direction. But I don't know. I think it's kind of a weird theory, but I can see it happening just if it becomes so much less viable to start a channel on YouTube to actually like get your stuff out there, you know?
Exactly. Not even to start a channel, to grow a channel. I know a lot of people that talk about maybe sensitive content, or maybe not the most PC content, or sometimes even if it is PC content, it's hard to grow a community past a certain point if YouTube's not favoring you, if you're not in it. And I've actually noticed this is something weird with our channel. We had like a set number of subscribers that we were gaining every month, and I was interested to see what would happen if we stopped uploading our content besides podcasts for a whole month, like our bread and butter content, to see if that number would drop or increase or what would happen. And that number has stayed relatively stagnant since we've stopped uploading content. You know, it's kind of like YouTube picks and chooses how much they're going to give you, how many subscribers, how many views, and all of that stuff, how much they're going to give you, which is really interesting because only now, after a month of not uploading content, and we started to see a bit of a drop in that number of subscribers that we've been receiving. And when we were uploading a ton of content, back when we had Alex in and everything like that, we were doing really good on our consistent 3 videos a week, plus podcasts, plus everything like that. It didn't even improve it that much. It was like we did like a really big spike, and then we would drop back down to where we were. Did you notice that, right, Paul?
Yeah, it's like the cost benefit. So it's like, oh, we're gonna spend a ton of time making content, but then we're only gonna see like a bump of like or to a month. It's really not worth it unless you're consistently getting big hitters, you know? It feels like we've been wallowing 1,500 subscribers for about the entire summer now. It's like, and then there's just, we can't get past it. I think we've been in that 1,500 range for forever.
And I've heard that this is like a grind. From like 1K to 10K is a grind, and even 1K to 20K can be like a major grind. And I always thought it was like, oh, we just need a viral hitter. We just need something to do it. But even when we got those videos that were pulling in like between 6 and 15K views in the first 2 or 3 weeks that they were out, dating a hologram and I can't remember the other one that did really well. But we didn't see that big of a bump in subscribers. We saw a bump in views, which is always good, you know, getting out there and everything like that, but we didn't see a bump in subscribers. So I'm just really interested to see how YouTube. But there's other channels like Sugar Pine 7 and other smaller content that's growing. So I don't know if it's just the community for our channel, but I've also noticed it in YouTube as a whole. I haven't seen much big small content creators rising up recently. I've kind of just seen the big guys keep getting bigger and the small guys kind of stay where they're at. Wherever they're, even if they're below 500 subscribers, they'll kind of just hang out. 500,000 subscribers, they'll just hang out below that range. I don't know. It's just a really interesting time, and I'd really like to look in more in depth into it and do some thesis videos in how YouTube works and the analytics behind it. Go ahead.
The analytics from YouTube on how many channels a month hit like 500,000 subscribers, how many hit 1 million, and so on and so forth. I think it'd be really interesting to see how quickly the channels are actually growing, because they release like how much video is uploaded like every second or whatever, and it's insane. But like how quickly the subscribers grow, you know, like, yeah, people are putting on a ton of content, but how many people are sticking around to watch that content, you know? Because I feel like people use a cloud storage thing for family videos and stuff, because there's so many videos out there with only like one view, and it's just like someone's like family vacation, you know?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's not an easy task to do. I mean, for YouTube to be able to handle all that content and then give the content to people that they want, I mean, that's an insurmountable task. Now, I don't think they're taking the correct avenue now. And what's really interesting is if we look at the past like year and a half of YouTube, there hasn't been much technology progression. For a while there with YouTube, we were getting tons of new features like YouTube Gaming, YouTube Streaming, you know, new creator studios for creators, all this different stuff. But in the past like year, I haven't seen any new updates. And I think that's honestly where it starts. It starts up. It's not the developers' faults. It's like the CEO and the lead developers that pick what features get rolled out, and I haven't seen any like progression in technology. So they're more focusing on. We could do a whole video on the Google I/O thing, but if you guys are interested in this, go and watch from Google I/O. Watch the whole 2 hours, or just watch like 40 minutes of it. Just watch YouTube's presentation at Google I/O and everybody else's, and that'll show you kind of what I mean. How YouTube is just at the higher level is not even there, where you see just how out of touch they are with users. Anyways, I want to jump onto another topic before we get too deep into this, because we could spend multiple podcasts talking about this stuff. I was today working on a feature for one of the apps I'm building that has to do with Google autofill. You know, like when you're going through a form and it automatically fills out the form for you. Do you use that?
Not anymore, since I found out that it's insecure. Like, there's a feature in it that's not secure, like how they store your information isn't too secure. Exactly. So I deleted all my stuff off of that. So I just put it in manually like a plebeian now. So
no, exactly. No, I'm the same exact way, because it's actually been a known thing for quite a while that in Google Chrome, if you guys don't know, if you use the autofill, if someone they can hide invisible fields, or when you use autofill, say you just put in your name or your email, they get tons of other information with that string that gets sent along with it, and it's really easy to capture. So I was curious. So you're like me. What do you think is a fair like privacy to what's the word I'm looking for? Privacy to what? Convenience. Privacy to convenience ratio. Like what what's some things today that a lot of people use that you don't use, or things that you're use for convenience or privacy? I'm just curious. This is for people in the comments and for you, Paul.
Things people use that I don't use. Well, Snapchat's a huge one. I think it's like a convenient way to contact your friends and like send them pictures of what you're doing. You know, I don't use that because I don't trump any. What's another big one?
Facebook. You don't use Facebook.
The only one I can think of. I'm not on any social media like that or this channel.
So are these for like
Yeah.
you just don't want those in your life, or is that for privacy reasons? Well, I guess it could play into both a little bit.
First, I'm probably not interesting enough for anyone to like follow me. You guys are my closest friends, and we talk on Slack every day, and that's like all. I don't want to stay in contact with anyone else, so that's kind of just like if I want to call them. Like, the fact that I don't see a use in my life, but it's also like lawyers to be able to go searching out for that stuff and being like, so who is this person? Like, I want them to actually meet me and not just judge me off of social media, you know? And I know, it's like if you don't have you as well, but I'll happily take that risk rather than someone searching around.
Exactly. It's just kind of weird to have like a chronological. Like I like the podcast for that reason because it's kind of our version of what we want going on, and what we go out there. It's not like I feel like Facebook. It's hard to like censor yourself. Oh wait. Oh look who decided to show up. There he is, big boy, big man on campus over here. Anyways, he'll come join here in a minute. I think it's so there's WeChat in China and Asia. I know a lot of our commenters have been talking about WeChat a lot recently. It's getting pretty big here over in the US actually. It's an app where it kind of wraps up everything you do into one app. So it's got like Venmo mixed with WhatsApp, mixed with you can purchase things at stores, like they just scan your phone, and so it's like your built-in credit card. It's got all of your information plus like your social media stuff. I mean, it's basically everything in one app. Do you feel like that's something you would subscribe to, Paul? Would you like to have it all wrapped up in one, or do you like to have it like separated out?
I think it's convenient to have it all in one, but it's also nice to have, because if one company gets, like if that WeChat gets hacked, they have everything. But social media gets hacked, that's fine because your stuff is only on that specific one. Like everything has everything on you. So if someone had all, I think it's kind of like not
definitely.
keeping all your eggs in one basket, you know?
A paradigm shift. About a year ago when we started the podcast, it was interesting to see people's reaction to devices such as Google Home and Google Glass and everything. And I actually think we're starting to see a transition over to people are way more looking for convenience than privacy. Because I went around and I was like, hey guys, can I turn off your autofill at work and stuff like that? There's security problems with it and stuff like that. And people are like, no, if my stuff doesn't remember my password, I don't want to use it, you know? They were very apprehensive because they don't remember their passwords. They don't want to type everything in. Austin's going to parkour. Hopefully the camera's picking this up right now. Oh, yep. There you go. Get it all in there, Austin. Yep, there he is.
I could have thought this out.
All right, hold on. We're going to take a short intermission while Austin gets all situated and beautiful. All right, we're going to change our camera angle.
Swain, Daddy.
Sorry for being late.
So apparently everybody's saying you got to get closer up on the mic.
Sorry, guys. I'm not good at this.
I was like, he's a lounger. He just lounges back, and then the mic disappears. No, you're good.
I'm gonna lounge like this.
Oh, there you go. That's privacy versus convenience in technology. And I'm saying that it feels like a shift. Have you felt like a shift in the past year? Like a lot more people are accepting Google Homes now. Like a year ago, when the Google Home first came out, everybody was like, I don't want a microphone in my house all the time. But now you see them everywhere. Google's releasing the $50 fine. I think that's the funny thing. You just have to drop the price point down, and all of a sudden everybody agrees to it.
Dude, I used to be super skeptical of like sharing my location history and whatever, and then I'm like, well, what do I have to lose? And I just got a new phone, and like it's so convenient. Like just the updates I get because I'm giving away all this data. it's really nice, and I don't see a problem with it unless, I don't know.
Even if stuff does get stolen, it's like, what's really the most relevant information you're going to get? And I think that's an interesting shift, because if you came back into the day, into the 60s or the 40s, during the Cold War era where people were really scared of their phones getting tapped and everything, and if you told them that they were going to stick a camera and a phone and all this stuff in there, their minds would have been completely blown. They would have been like, whoa, that's crazy, you know? But I don't know. I guess we've become more trusting, also detrusting of big companies. Like, we're okay with Google, this massive company, coming in and just doing whatever they want. And I'm actually transitioning away from that, I think. I think I'm actually transitioning more to the privacy sphere than I used to be.
Oh, yeah?
I definitely do. I'm not the biggest fan of Google's practices, and basically anybody's practices. Everything I've seen about big companies, exactly like you were saying, Paul, with Snapchat and everything, I have not been very impressed with what they've been doing with the data.
It's interesting because I was reading I don't know what magazine it was. It was like Business Insider or something on campus. And it's talking about like the big four companies and like how they're stifling innovation or like any progress in any, like, for smaller people.
Oh, exactly. I think we brought that up in a probably 6 podcasts ago. I mean, we were talking about it was kind of scary actually, because they'll just either buy up startups immediately, or if you bring up some sort of competitor or something that does a little bit better, they have so much development power and they have so much money that they can just beat you to it so fast. You know, I don't know. Since you've started working at Macy's, Paul, have you seen any reaction to Amazon or anything like that? I'm curious about that now that you've been there for quite a while.
Like, how do you mean? Like, yeah, we see them as the. So can you expand upon that a little bit?
So I know like Jeff Bezos just got named like the richest person in the world, and Amazon's starting to kind of really I'm actually like, I was for Amazon like sticking their hands everywhere, like making it super convenient, having super convenient stores and everything like that, but now I'm kind of taking a step back because I realize how much that can stifle technology. So is Macy's worried about them Amazon stepping into their territory at all? Because I know like my dad's company is, and I know even the company I work for, ChemDry, who does carpet cleaning, you know, they get kind of intimidated by these big companies that have so much power, development power behind their hand, and technological power, that it's like they could literally step into any sphere they want and dominate.
Yeah, we're definitely like worried about that, and especially now because started up Amazon Fashion. Like, Amazon used to be a terrible place to buy clothes, but now they're like coming out with all these new ideas. Like, they have like a fashion box, I think, where you can get it ordered to you and you just take out what you want and then return the rest.
Which I can guarantee
and, like,
was
they're
a
gonna
startup, right? I bet it was a startup that they bought out
sure.
and just put it under the Amazon entity. Anyways, continue on.
Yeah, copy of a startup,
Which is even worse.
But we like, our analysis shows that they're going to be losing money on that, like they do with everything they do, just because they have enough money that they can just say, like, oh yeah, we'll lose money until all these other companies are out of business, then we'll just buy up the remnants to make money, you know? Yeah. I can kind of see, like, like people are worried about that, but I can also see, like, we're trying to make ourselves an attractive option for someone like Amazon to come in and buy, or like Alibaba to come in and buy, which I wouldn't mind working for either of those companies. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, those are big companies.
But yeah, we're trying to figure out like where are going, and I think it's more going towards the like a more personal selling approach. So yeah, it's a huge department store, but we're kind of moving more towards like stores. Like, our stores are so big that we can have multiple tiny stores within it with like people who know the product really well, so you get sold correctly, and like the vendors are actively training the people on their product. So when you come into like a Macy's store to buy a pair of shoes, the person knows everything there is to know about the shoes and how they should fit and like what kind of situation you should wear, stuff like that. And
No, I think you're
I
exactly
think
right.
that's good because you're spending
There's
so much on them. Amazon's
I
just
think
gonna
a
have these.
great
You're not
company
gonna
that
know
will
what to do.
not have any problems with like the online revolution is REI, and I think it's for that exact reason. REI has their REI experts that you go in. Like literally, I could have bought all these shoes, these hiking boots, but I drove hours to go to an REI just so I could talk to an REI expert to get the boots that I exactly wanted. And I think that's a genius approach to take, and I think that's a really great approach, especially with the convenience of online shopping and everything. And I honestly think we're going to see a resurgence of that. You know, I used to be of like the mindset that it's all going to be 100% digital and everything, but I've actually kind of seen like a people coming back from that, and I think that has to do with drop shipping being so easily accessible and so many online little businesses starting up.
I think it has to do a lot with like the product you want too.
Exactly.
Like your boots, that's a very specific thing for hiking. Like you want quality, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna buy like laundry detergent, why not just Amazon Prime that? You know?
Exactly. But if you need it right there, I guess they have the Amazon stores that can ship to you within like 2 hours now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great point. And so I think we're going to see a resurgence. And something that I didn't expect a resurgence of that a lot of people are predicting right now is a resurgence of VR with the new Microsoft headsets. Have you guys noticed all the articles online about VR getting a new resurgence with the new 5 headsets and different price ranges getting dropped?
Yeah, it seems like people are really being receptive to these headsets, and I think it's because there's so many. Don't have like PC is the well-known, like they're not more well-known than Acer, you know, big company now. Like, yeah, Oculus is owned by Facebook, but Oculus has had like some of the most disappointing sales among VR devices, and I think that's only going to be made worse. Facebook isn't adopting this approach where they're trying to get these companies that already are established to start selling them under their name, you know?
Yeah, it's a really genius platform. And let's just go ahead and go. So we on the podcast we make a lot of predictions, right? We even not like we don't outwardly state, oh, this is a prediction, but during conversations we'll just say, I kind of see this is how it's going to go, or this is how I feel this is going to work, you know? And we've been kind of correct about a few things right now. Microsoft just announced that they're dropping phones, right?
Yep, getting rid of the Windows Phone platform.
Which is a pretty big deal, actually, because phones are still huge. Like, I noticed a lot of comments were like, you're going to have to pry my phone out of my cold, dead hands, you know what I mean?
Which they usually do in car wrecks.
So, nice. So for them to for them to completely drop this platform is pretty impressive, because that's a big department of Windows and Microsoft is their phones, and now completely gone. Hasn't been for a couple years, but it was for a while. So it just shows them trying to progress forward. And of Microsoft, of all companies, I would have not expected them to be the ones pioneering technologies like they have been in the past year. Not even year, past 6 months even. Thanks. This is where you guys are supposed to add on. Like, yes, I saw a news article.
I didn't hear the end of your sentence.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm sorry.
Don't we have some news articles about that stuff that we can cite?
I will.
Austin's got his laptop. He's gonna figure out this out. Sorry, guys. A little bit rushed podcast today.
Posted so much.
Sorry.
Just take everything he dropped and just start dropping it in the chat, so people are distracted reading their own
So
stuff.
we got like mixed reality versus mixed reality ultra. What is the difference?
Okay, where's the one about headsets though that I'm looking for right now?
Here, I got it.
Okay, sweet.
First, I'm going to drop it in the YouTube chat. Then I'll read it.
So, and those,
because we're prepared.
they're not even the headsets aren't even being sold yet, which is exciting to see this much of an adoption. Now, here's my thing. Here's my thing about this that we can get into while you guys are looking over that article. I don't think we're still going to see as big of adoption as we would like, for the sole reason of most people don't have powerful enough computers to run these things.
Right. What do you need? Like an i7?
It's pretty beefy. I mean, I would say for most consumers, they're not still going to have a powerful enough computer. They're little. desktop or their little MacBook is still not going to have the beef to run these VR games, which I think is really going to stifle it. And I don't know, I wish VR could go more into like not such a niche gaming sphere. I wish it could be like something, like everybody has an Xbox or everybody has a PS4 or everybody has a Wii or something like that. At least everybody we know has like one of those platforms or PC. I'd like to see that with everybody, like VR. Everybody either has a THC, everybody either has a Samsung one, either everybody has this, and there's kind of a little bit of rivalry between the two, but at the same time we all foster this awesome gaming ecosystem. I'd like to see that for VR, but the fact of the matter is, if you have to spend $500 on a VR device, and then you have to spend another $800 to $1,200 building a PC that can even run the thing, I don't think we're going to see much adoption.
Well, that's the beauty of the HoloLens if it comes down in price.
Exactly. Sorry, continue on, Paul. What's that article say?
Okay, well, I think a really interesting thing is the launch VR title for going to be Halo Recruit, which is going to be pretty cool. It's going to be like a little, I'm guessing, didn't see anything about it. One of the most was, kind of piggybacking off what you said, is Alec Kipman previously could reduce the price of a VR-ready PC from $1,500 to about $500. So if he's correct, these headsets, like the goal is just to bring down the price of the PC required to own one of these headsets. So you're looking at a total cost there of like $1,000, which is pretty reasonable, I'd say, especially because VR-ready PCs will be able to handle most of your now, and they'll be able to handle all of them. But like for $500, that's going to be like a mid-ranged PC, lowest price.
No, yeah, that's awesome. I remember when those graphics cards first got dropped, and now those completely ready PCs, just for VR. That's kind of exciting, but to me, when I buy something like a headset like that, I expect it to be a... Oh, we mute. I can't hear anything. It's okay. Yeah. At least in my opinion, when I go to buy a VR headset, when I see that $500 price tag, I feel like that encompasses everything else I'll need. Isn't that what you see at least? Or do you when you see that, I see it as like an all-in-one device, but it's not. Is that how you see it being? It's not how it's sold, but that's just what it seems in my head.
Like usually when you're gonna spend that type of change on a device, you think that's all you would need, but
exactly. So I don't know. I mean, but people readily spend $800, $900 on phones every year, So it'll be interesting. I'd actually like to see I feel like there's got to be a more accessible way to get VR. There still has to be. There still has to be a more accessible way to get VR. Not crappy phone VR, and not $600, $700 Oculus Rift HTC Vive. And I know that's not the price of it now. But there's got to be a happy medium. And I know Microsoft is trying to achieve that. But there's still got to be a more happy medium. To make it mainstream, there's going to have to be.
You don't like cardboard VR?
I think it's all right. I think it's a cool introduction to VR. But as not a VR experience I would want to actually enjoy.
I don't know, like most people you talk to, they don't really see them practically using VR in their everyday life, which I don't think they have to, but I think that's a lot of people, like main consumers' issues. They don't see a reason to have it.
Exactly. And I think if there was like a happy medium, we would definitely be there. Okay, so it's like the people adopting Google Home, the people that have been waiting to adopt Google Home or some type of home device. Alexa, Google Home, or whatever the new one is. There's another one now. But is the price range. It was like $120. But now they've both released, Amazon and Google have both released their $50 edition. And I think we're going to see a ton more adoption of those. And I think price plays a lot to it. There's got to be a happy medium somewhere where it's like, I can compromise some of this, but I also get some of this back.
I think it will come eventually, like with most technology.
Oh yeah, just progression builds it.
Yeah.
So I think if we go out and buy them, I'm curious about the people in the comments that are listening right now. Do any of you guys own any type of VR device? And if so, I mean, if not, what is like your price range that you guys are willing to spend to get VR experience? So that's not just for a headset. That means computer, controllers, everything else. What is your perfect price range for a VR experience? I'm going to turn that question over to you, Austin.
My price range. as a broke college student.
Who's a semi-enthusiast.
Yeah. I'd probably pay around $300.
For a complete experience.
Yeah.
So this is like, you don't have to upgrade your computer, you don't have to do anything like that. You get the headset, you get the controllers, you're good to go.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Paul, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I think we were just fooling around with the audio, and I got muted on accident, I
Nope,
guess.
you're fine, man.
But
Okay,
we're back now.
Fooling around, Paul.
Yeah.
this is the HH podcast. There's no fooling around here.
We don't joke on this podcast.
You need to be more serious and talk about more news topics.
You need to sound dead inside.
You need to sound more well-informed.
Oh, I got
You got
this.
this?
I'm the
Okay,
best
let's
at being a judge. All right.
Anyways, what about you? What's your price range?
I could see myself paying around $500 for a complete VR setup. Because the way I see it is a VR headset is like a peripheral to your computing. And I think the main way
This is an NPR,
is
Paul.
that
Okay.
I'm already spending around $500 on a monitor, and that monitor to control the PC, I don't want to spend another $500 on basically an extension of the PC. It's another peripheral device,
He's
correct?
committed to this now, huh?
And this thing
There we
is, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I got too focused on talking like an NPR person.
Everybody else did. Wait. So what was your price range? Sorry, I got too focused on how good your impression was.
So that's the PC and the headset. For me, the headset should only cost about $100. That's like a monitor. The way I could see getting into VR is if it becomes you can control the entire PC.
Kind of like what Windows is doing. Exactly
You know?
what they're doing with their OS. So I guess that's fair. That's fair. So and I guess that's the interesting thing, because let me see my price range. I'm gonna lead more at like $500, $400, $500, because I'm kind of an enthusiast. I think it's something I have a lot of friends over. I think it'd be fun to let my friends try. I'd like to be able to do games.
It'd be great for our channel too.
It would be great for our channel. Now, the biggest thing for me, though, about all gaming and everything is reoccurring costs. And with gaming, I think that is the biggest catch-22, because you can get a really nice Xbox One for like $300, $250 now, and the new Xbox One X is coming out. But the problem is, you're gonna need controllers after that, and after you get controllers, you're gonna need new games. Games range for about $60 now for that kind of stuff. I don't think that's where VR games are gonna be. I see VR games probably more like $10, $25, that range. But still, these aren't full-fledged games, so you're gonna want a big handful of them. So you buy your headset, you buy your computer, and then you have to buy games. And let's say you're gonna at least want like 10 games. 10 games at $20 a pop, you're looking at another $200 cost. So on top of that headset, you're looking at a whole nother cost onto this. And now to me, that's where VR gets killed, and all gaming in general. So the reason I just barely got a Nintendo 3DS, which I know is super nerdy, everybody can say that, but the reason I got it is I knew I could put homebrew on it and illegally download games, which I'm not normally for, but most of the games I want to play are 4 years old and they still cost $40, $50. And to me, that's just too much when I'm only going to play them for a little while. I don't know. How do you feel about gaming in that spectrum?
Yeah, it's like you said. Oh, Paul's talking.
Yeah. You're good, Austin. Continue.
Go ahead, buddy. Okay. Yeah, it's very, very expensive. That's probably the big reason why I don't game as much as I used to. I mean, I just bought GTA 5, but...
How much? Steam sale, probably?
No, yeah, I paid full price. Probably a mistake. It was $60.
You paid $60 for GTA 5?
Mm-hmm.
Dang. But...
Peer pressure, you know.
Oh, you have friends and everything?
Yeah, they're like, you gotta get GTA. Like, I know I do. But...
That's a big motivator, man, in gaming, is peer pressure, is FOMO, fear of you're missing out, or if your friends all have that game, you want to be able to play with them.
At least 4 of my games on Steam have been gifted to me just because they want me to play so bad.
Exactly, friends will buy them for you. And that brings up a great point for VR. I bet you if one of us had VR in our friend group, everybody would be more applicable to get it, so we could all play VR meetup space games together. We could play VR multiplayer games together.
Or just socialize VR.
Exactly. I feel like if one of us took that step, it would kind of push the rest of us to do it, but none of us are really willing to take that step quite yet. What about you, Paul? Sorry. What were you going to say to my question?
Oh no, yeah, I was just gonna agree with what you guys said, and it's definitely like the kind of peer pressure effects, and it's also like I usually don't look at buying a game. Like I just got a PS4, and I haven't bought a game that costs over $30 for it yet, and that's kind of like my limit. And those are usually like 2-year-old games that I'm waiting for. So yeah, I want like the newest experience, but I know like what games I want to play. But if like you guys had PS4s and you guys had like the newest Call of Duty, I'd be like, oh, I have to get it so we can all play together, you know? So It's definitely that fear of missing out, and it's also like peer pressure is a huge motivator with gaming, and I think VR getting cheaper will help it move into that kind of sphere of the peer pressure, and more multiplayer games do need to come out for it, you know?
And since more people will have them, more developers will be willing to invest time and money into developing games for it. I think this is a great push. And we've kind of always seen VR as, we've predicted VR to be dying out. Your laptop's going to die. We've always been predicting VR to kind of die out, but that doesn't seem like actually where it's going. It actually seems like we might see a resurgence. And I'm 50-50 split on what's going to happen, you know, so it's kind of like a coin toss. Like, I think we could either see this as the next VR bump and maybe the actual wave of VR that we originally saw, or I could see this as just another prologuing the inevitable.
Yeah.
Inevitable. Anyways, we have some comments, I think. You want to hit me with some of those real quick?
These are probably like way old. Yeah.
They are.
They're off topic now at this point. Anyways, if you guys have any comments, leave them in the. If you guys have any comments, please leave them in the live chat. Anything you guys want us to talk about or any input to all of this. Sorry I didn't get to them earlier. I should have got to them earlier. Who's all here? We can give a little bit of shout out to who's here.
We got Thought Experiment, #1 HoloLens fan.
And I think I saw Noah there.
Ninja Warrior was here. Noah's here. Tuck, main man Tuck is here, and yeah.
Well, welcome everybody to the stream. I know you guys, I should have welcomed you guys much time ago. I don't have any access to the live chat right here. I really need to get it on the TV or something. But,
I can cast it for you, buddy.
No, we don't want to waste that much Wi-Fi. Anyways, gaming. Yeah, so I think VR has room to grow, but I also think it has a lot of room to die and to disappear off our plates. Do you see this wave having any impact on AR, guys? Like, do you have now, since VR is more attainable, people are going to kind of get into the AR realm too, or how do you see this impacting it at all, if at all?
I honestly don't see it impacting it that much, because to me they're just such different technologies. I think what's going to impact it the most is like ARKit, AR Core. Those two are going to be huge. He's kind of merging the two, but that I don't know how that'll work necessarily. It's just going to be, I think this is just going to be the VR push right now. I think they're slowing down on AR, except for like in the phones, obviously, until they can give us a pair of glasses that can do everything that we want them to do and look nice, you know?
Yeah, exactly. We've always said this. We've always said VR is going to be milked for all it's worth, because good AR does VR and does everything you need it to do, if not better, in some cases. Worse in some cases, obviously. But at least for a consumer, it'll do everything they want it to do. So they're going to milk this for all it's worth, which makes sense. I mean, if you're a company, that's what you want to do. And it's also, let's explore the technology. We have it here. We have it prevalent. Let's explore it while it's here. But I don't know. I'm interested in it. So we're looking to get a VR device too. So if you guys in the comments have any suggestions on which ones to get, or if you guys have seen any other YouTubers with them, so far they've been pretty tight-lipped about the devices. Haven't seen many reviews on any of them. Specs are semi-readily available, and price points are also semi-readily available, subject to change though.
Yep.
But what was that VR mixed reality Max or Ultra or something you were telling me about?
Mixed reality Ultra. Hopefully my laptop doesn't die. Who makes it?
Want to go ahead and drop this link in the chat, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think if one of you guys got a VR device, that'd be much more applicable to get a VR device.
Oh yeah.
I definitely think that is. Or if someone sent us a VR device, that would definitely hit me to get one. If someone sent me one, I'd talk it up like none other. Wink, wink. Microsoft, Samsung, anybody. We got people with deep pockets.
Experiment heat kit, and it works well on his top and his Surface Pro. So assuming that means he tested it out on all three and it works fine. So that's pretty interesting that it, because the Surface Pros is correct, super beefy. So that's good to know that they'll work on kind of a mid-range laptop.
And Acer's the lower. The Acer one's like the lowest end of them all. If I remember, it's like $250. Am I correct? Is it like the blue one? Sorry, I really wish I had some form of technology, like a phone, which I have in my hand, but I'm not going to use it. Thought experiment. There's like that's like the $250 one, so it's not, the screen's not as powerful, and I know I watched Sean Ong's video on it and it looked really awesome, but from what I understand it's not quite there. I haven't seen anything with these new devices and I'm really curious to. I really want to see, hopefully Sean Ong or somebody we know gets their hands on every single device and could give us a really nice side-by-side comparison. That'd be a really fun video to make. I'd love to make that. Microsoft, if you're listening, we will take the hit for the team, and we will do a 10-part series on the new VR devices and which ones to get and everything. So, shut up. Anyways.
Number one HoloLens fan, he says, get a Dell. It comes at mid-price and offers 110% field of view. I think it's percent, that's what he meant.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That is way awesome. And I think you can bundle basically all of them with the new controllers too, which will be really cool. Mm-hmm. Anyways, what's this MR Max thing? MR Ultra?
Well, my laptop just died. So, basically just, if you have a higher spec computer, it offers just a bit more features, like just crisper visuals and stuff like that.
Is this from Microsoft?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Do they actually label it as MR Ultra?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
I think so, with what I just read.
Yeah, I have it open here. Yeah.
We're such schmuck.
It's just like crisper visuals, high refresh rate, 90 frames per second. So that's really good. 60. More apps and experiences, including the highest performance games. A mirror window on your desktop that shows what you see in mixed reality, record and share videos as well as photos of your mixed reality experiences. So interesting to me that the lower just like allow you to record and share. Like, I mean, then that you'll
I know you can like export it, so we could totally screen reader it in like with
obviously
OBS or something. I'm presuming. I know a lot of live streamers do it that way.
Like for apps and stuff,
That's
you should still be able to do it correct.
Giving a whole different labeling to it though. Like I don't know if that's a marketed thing or if that's just like developers are calling it that for now. I don't have the article open right now, but that's interesting that they're going to label different forms of mixed reality. MR Ultra, MR. They could have MR not Ultra. What, I don't know. It's interesting. It's so weird to me that MR is getting this MR Lite. Exactly. It's just so weird to me that MR is getting thrown around as these multiple different. It's just. We got some comments on the last MR where we mostly talked a lot about what MR is and the definition of it, and I can't remember, there was a comment on it that was really good, but go ahead and check out our old podcast and you guys can read that comment, and that's what I think it is. It makes sense. It's like when you're mixed with, like, anytime you take technology and interact it with your world, which seems silly because that seems like a computer or anything like that. I don't know, the description's really good. Just marketing. It's just crazy, crazy marketing. What are those other articles we can knock off real quick before we're out of here, Paul?
I think a good one, we can bring back a little bit of Magic Leap drama. I guess they just released another promotional video that showed nothing.
On their Twitter?
Yeah. I was actually going to come into the podcast with a piece of, like, modern art that I just drew. Like, look at Magic Leap.
Because it's all just love. Oh, yeah. Oh, is this the one that was, like, the behind the scenes at Magic Leap video or something like that?
How it started and its vision and how it's just like an art project.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I totally remember that now. Oh, yeah, drop that in the chat. People love that. Yeah, we haven't done Magic Leap drama for weeks. This is good.
They also
go ahead.
dropped some, Well, they're teaming up with Metafire for like some mixed reality comics.
Why?
I don't know. Because it's art.
What's that sigh for, Paul?
What?
Paul, just give us a nice sigh. What's that for?
It's just like comics. I don't know if many people do. I think like comics are a very niche thing. Like, give us some real like use cases. Like no one's gonna buy it just to read a comic. That's not making me excited.
It's making me super excited. Come on, Paul. MR Comics. That's not something that a Holland's developer could whip up in 10 minutes. I bet Thought Experiment could really make that by day after tomorrow a pretty cool comic thing. I don't know what they're making. I'm just talking out of my ass on this part. But anyways.
Yeah, there's a link you can post about it too.
Go.
Isn't the point of comics to have it like does anyone read comics on like the internet? Or am I just like the only person who just doesn't see how that's cool?
A mixed reality movie, which is kind of cool. But
like Walking Dead, mixed reality. Yeah. I don't know. Like a pick your own adventure mixed reality thing. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know. It's just weird to me that Magic Leap is releasing all of this cool stuff. Air quotes, cool. Now that we're on the video podcast, you can see me do air quotes. Quote unquote, cool stuff. Yep. But yet, I don't have a picture of a device. I don't have specs. I don't have anything to go by on what this means. Or actually, I don't even have a definition of what they call mixed reality or a definition of what they're trying to achieve with their glasses. Or I have no concept to go by. So when I'm talking about comics like that, they're teaming up to do mixed reality comics, we have no idea what that means.
I know.
You can ask a lot of people. Hopefully Noah's here. Maybe Noah could clear up some of this stuff for us. But, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen anything. Have you guys seen any news about if they're still projected for this December to start releasing some information? Is that changed at all?
There was no updates on that, so I'm assuming it's the same. But it's just all this like fluff, which I absolutely hate. I don't know. It just makes me angry.
I hate the fluff too, man. I mean,
Jake Paul of mixed reality.
Oh yeah, we were here on YouTube earlier. You should have been like that. You should have been here for that discussion. But I mean, I don't know. It's what just quite a bummer of Magic Leap right now. I just want something. Always want something. Anyways, how long have we been going, Caden? By the way, thank you to Caden for running our switcher board for us and everything else for us. 57 minutes? That's a perfect time to start wrapping up. Right around an hour. That's right where we need to be.
A face reveal one of these days.
Oh yeah, I don't think anybody's ever seen Caden's face. No, we can't show it now. Now we got to do like a whole thing about it.
We should keep it for like a year.
And then Caden's face reveal. It'd be like you know Pokemon when they do it comes up and it's like, what is this Pokemon with like a question mark? We could do that and be like, guess who this is?
I'll just move the camera.
Won't even be a real face. Anyways, we're gonna get him a mic soon. We're gonna get him a whole like little nice setup thing once we get everything else sorted out. Anyways, I think you guys want to say your closing remarks for this podcast?
Yeah, sure. Thanks you all for tuning in. This podcast is brought to you by viewers like you.
Oh my God.
KBYU or whatever.
Well,
I stole Paul's line. I knew he was gonna say that.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
To say, that's the second week in a row Austin said that. I mean...
Okay, I'll think of something new.
Yeah, we do it because of you, but we would still do it. Talking about the stuff. But thanks for listening,
Paul makes a great statement. Thank you, Paul. Paul makes a great statement. I mean, this is like our conversations that we would normally have just recorded in a more natural form, and where we leave out a lot of swear words and stuff, but it's an average conversation. Anyways, this has been episode 32 of the Holo Herald podcast. Thank you for everyone joining us. I'm going to see if I can name them all off by memory. Here we go. Jason from Thought Experiment, thank you for joining us for the live stream. Tuck Siver, thank you for joining us for the live stream. Noah, as always, thank you. Number one Hollands fan, I don't even know if we need an introduction or anything like that. Just thank you for being here, and thank you for being the number one Hollands fan. Who am I missing? Oh, Ninja something? I don't think I've ever met Ninja before.
He said hi and then nothing else, so.
Ninja, thanks for coming and saying hi. I don't know. Anyways, what Austin says is, and what Paul says, yes, it is brought by viewers like you, but at exactly the same time, Thank you guys for joining us. I had one more closing remark to make, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Expect more content.
Oh, exactly. Yes. Thank you guys for being patient. We're going to start uploading more content soon. And, oh man, there was something I was going to say, but I totally can't remember what it was now. Anyways, we'll post it on Twitter or something like that. Thank you guys so much for joining us for episode 32 of the Holo Herald podcast, and we will catch you guys same time, same place next week. See you guys.
See ya.
That's very sweet. That's very sweet.